If you want endless stamina on the football pitch, endless energy, watch this video all the way through. I'm going to share with you the secrets of creating an energy system in your body that allows you to run all game long with a smile on your face without having to think about, oh, did I do enough cardio before this match? Not to be nervous or insecure about your level of fitness, your match sharpness. All these common buzzwords that you hear in the football world is mostly garbage because the top players, the players that coaches love, and the players that coaches will pay for their trials, pay for their combines, pay for their flights, pay for obviously their contracts and all that stuff. Those guys do not have to do extra cardio because they have an intrinsic energy system that is already efficient. So I'm going to explain more about this, but in this video, I want to show and explain why all you guys are wasting your time on the treadmill. You're wasting your time on the stationary bike. You're wasting your time doing endless cardio, even though you're already playing tons of football. You're doing more of what's not working and hoping for different results, which is obviously the definition of insanity. So I recommend you change your approach, you change your strategy and adapt my way of thinking where, yes, it's about work smart as opposed to work hard, but you can't really work hard until you work smart because you have to unlock the right avenue, the right approach, the right angle of precision. You know, when you hit a nail with a hammer, you have to first understand how to hit the nail. Then you apply the power. Same thing with if you're golfing or obviously if you're shooting a football, if you don't know how to hit the target, hit the frame, then you can't worry about power. So first and foremost, you running on a treadmill over and over and over again like a hamster on a wheel does not make you more athletic. Now that phrase more athletic, I know some of you might say, okay, what does that actually mean? And to be fair, that's a fair question because over the course and kind of across the football world, this idea of being athletic is almost seen as something that is fixed, that you can't change, that you're born with, etc., etc. But in reality, that's not true. In reality, your level of athleticism is developed from when you were born, from when you were a baby, from when you were a toddler, and as you grew into a man throughout your high school and your middle school years. Now, if you're already older than that, that's not a problem because I've built a system that you can go backwards basically in time and redevelop the intrinsic abilities, redevelop the keys that were supposed to be developed in childhood. And a few of those things is your fascial activation. That's basically your elasticity, how well your body absorbs and reabsorbs energy, force basically, so that you can like spring around the pitch as opposed to having to muscle your way around the pitch, having to struggle your way around the pitch. Basically, it means that you can jump like a kangaroo, not actually like a kangaroo, but in terms of energy production, you are more efficient. You use the force that hits your foot when you land. You're using that force to your benefit as opposed to your detriment. So that's the first thing, elasticity. Number two is your mitochondrial density. Most of you guys are low energy, low dopamine, like addicted to social media, have anxiety, have ADHD, got depression. You can't think straight. Now that first and foremost comes from your mitochondria, how well your body produces ATP, which is basically energy in the body to help you to perform every single process there is in your body to perform, which of course there is many. And if you are not at tip-top shape, if your car is not running efficiently, you're gonna basically have to use a lot more energy to get the basics done than you really need to. So then you become a very inefficient machine and thus you won't last very long at the highest level of sport, for example. So the mitochondrial density has a lot to do with your exposure to sunlight, with your grounding, with your exposure to non-native EMF. What kind of foods you eat is important, but light and grounding and fresh air is first and foremost most important. Light always comes before food. I'm sorry for all the food gurus out there that don't understand that sunlight is more important than how many calories you're eating. You don't really know how the body works. In time, you'll understand how circadian biology rules all. So number three, this is your metabolic flexibility. This is basically your ability to switch from fats and carbohydrates back and forth efficiently in a manner that is most advantageous for your activity in that moment. So if you're walking around, it's not advantageous to use carbohydrates for low intensity effort. But if you're sprinting around, then it's also not efficient to be using fat as a fuel because carbohydrates is what is meant for high intensity action. So that flexibility, the ability to effortlessly switch back and forth, that is a key that most people sabotage because all day they're eating processed carbohydrates, they're eating sugars that is obviously not natural. If you're having raw honey, that's great. But most sugars in any kind of packaging is not real sugar. It's devoid of minerals, of nutrients, and enzymes to help you actually digest the things, let's say, in the sugar. Now, in terms of your metabolic flexibility, you want to eat only within sunlight hours. So that means from sunrise to sunset. The more you eat outside those hours, the more you are ruining your digestion, the more you are ruining your ability to switch back and forth. And on top of that, that is one of the key ways of syncing your circadian rhythm. So all your hormones are being produced at the right times in the right amounts so that your body again becomes more efficient. These are all like the building blocks of energy production. And yet every single footballer, even at the highest level, has no idea about them. And every club at the highest level has no idea about them either. And this is purely because they're just behind the latest science. That's how the medical system works. That's how science works, is the experts are always decades behind the pioneers because they don't want to change, because they're in position, they're in power, they have control. There's no benefit for them to change from their current model because they're making money doing that. Players are injured all across the football world. They're in a job because players are injured. If players weren't injured, they wouldn't have a job. So I'm here to basically get them all fired and make you an elite footballer. I'm Taylor, the founder of Football Entangled. Just a few weeks ago, I ran a workshop all about endless stamina. Down below in the description is a link to sign up for the recording and join my group on Telegram to carry out all the principles that I lay out to build endless stamina and become an absolute machine on the pitch so you can run all game long with a big smile and make people jealous of you. Welcome to my world. This is where we make elite footballers. Enjoy. I'll see you soon.